Now that we've walked through the process of finding quartiles, I'm going to show you how to turn quartiles into the main pieces of a box plot. And once again, we're going to use our scores by individual students at the University of Kentucky. And the very first step whenever you're making a box plot is that you need to draw a number line, and the number line needs to be large enough to go from the smallest number to the largest number. So now, as you can see, I've got myself a number line that goes from 0 to 28. And remember that the first thing we did was find the median. And the median was 5. On a box plot, you need to mark that median. So I'm going to go over here to where the 5 is on the number line. And I am going to put just a straight line right above the 5. That's going to become part of my box, as you'll see in just a second. So 5 is my median. Then you'll recall that we found the lower quartile, or the Q1, and that is the median of the lower half of numbers. So that is going to be 0. So I'm going to make another little portion of the box right there. I'm going to label that Q1. Then we found the median of the upper half of the numbers. And in that case, that was 18. So I'm going to draw another little straight line right above the 18. So those are the individual walls or pieces of my box. So now I'm going to connect them. Y'all are going to find out I'm no artist. I'm actually really bad at this. So yeah, that's kind of an ugly box. That's supposed to be a box that I've got marked right above the 18. And then for the last step, sometimes you hear a box plot called a box and whisker plot. When you were in middle school, you probably heard that. In high school, we typically call it a box plot, box and whisker, though it's the same thing. So you might remember from middle school that a box plot has whiskers. And basically what that whisker is it's just a line that goes out to the side. And that line extends up to the highest number in your data set. So notice I stopped the line right here above the 28. And the math word that we typically use for that is the maximum. And in most box plots, you would have another little whisker that goes out here, that extends to the minimum. But in this case, the lower quartile and the minimum are actually the same number. That doesn't happen very often. But in this particular case, it's true. So the minimum and the lower quartile are actually the same. So you won't have a whisker that goes off to the left-hand side because the left side of your box is also your minimum. So now what would be great is if you pause the video, try to take Duke's individual scores, and sketch out what you think, based on the previous example, a box plot might look like, and I will be right back with you. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you have paused the video, tried to at least sketch out what you think that box plot's going to look like. And so, of course, the first step is that we need a number line, and we need the number line to go from 0 to 31. So here is that number line. Then you know that you had to find the median first, and you'll recall from our previous videos that we didn't have just one number in the middle this time. We had 2 numbers in the middle. So we had to add them together and divide by 2 to find the actual median, which is 12, because that is halfway in between the 11 and the 13. So that median is 12. Excuse me. So I'm going to mark that It's going to be part of my box. It's going to go right there above the 12. Now I need to look at the left side of the set of data, and the median for the lower half of the data, because we have 2 4s there in the middle, that means that the median is just going to be 4, which means that your lower quartile, your Q1, is right there above the 4. Remember, this is called your median. Then we need to do the upper half of the numbers. So I add the 19 and the 22 together and divide by 2. So 31 divided by 2 gave us what? 15. Oh, oops. Sorry, guys. I meant to say 41 divided by 2. So that's 20.5 was that upper quartile. This is all stuff that we did in the previous video. So it's going to be somewhere about there-ish is my Q3. So now I've established the walls for the box. So I am going to create the box. Woo, that was ugly. Let me try that again. Y'all get used to it over time. I really stink at this. So we've got the box made, and now we need to extend the little whiskers. And our whiskers need to go to the maximum of 31. So I'm going to mark 31. And I'm going to extend the whisker out to it. And this time, the lower quartile and the minimum are not the same number. So I am going to put a little coordinate right there above that minimum of 0, the smallest number. And label it. And there you have it, a box plot for Duke and for UK's points scored during that game. When we have our live session this week, or over this content next week actually, we will discuss like what on earth was the point of doing that. So today I just want to make sure that you know how to do it, and stay tuned because I promise it'll make sense what the heck we're going to do with this in the future.